here with the amazing romance author, Jennifer Westecott. She is here to tell us about all things romance, her journey, and it's an amazing one, folks. You're in for a treat today. So, word on the street is that this process started off as a short story that bloomed into something else. So, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you came from, and what that blooming process looked like?
Certainly. When I started this process, I was living in my hometown. It's a small community in northern British Columbia called Fort St. James. It's about
Mhm.
5,000 people if you're lucky. I grew up there. I raised my family there. And at the time when I started writing this story, I was battling what some would say my own demons. I was going through the
Mhm.
breakup of my marriage, battling addictions to crack cocaine, alcoholism. And then a short while later, the husband that I had separated from had passed away due to cancer.
Mm.
So I had all that on me, being a newly single mom. I was stressed. I needed an outlet to get my feelings out. So every night after I would put the kids to bed, I would sit down at my laptop and I'd just start writing. I had no clear path, what that was going to look like, what I was going to write. I didn't have it written down like I do now, where chapter one, this is how it's going to be laid out. Chapter two,
Mhm.
I sat there and I started writing. I figured, oh, it's just going to be a little short story. And the next thing I knew, I had well over 300 pages within about 6 months of just working at it for a couple hours a night. My son and daughter were always asking me what I was doing at night. And I was like, well, mommy's writing a story. And they're like, oh, well, that's cool, kind of thing. And I told my parents, and my dad's like, oh, you'll never get it published. Nothing's going to happen with it. But that was just his way growing up of telling my brother and I, don't get your hopes set too high, be
Mhm.
realistic.
Mhm.
And then August of 2011, I'd had it published by Ex Libris Publishing. So I had a solid copy in my hand and I showed dad and he's like, I knew you could do it. I'm like, but you said I couldn't. He's like, I want you to get your hopes up. And
Mhm.
then he'd passed away in May of 2012, the day before Mother's Day.
Mhm.
And it devastated me because dad was my best friend.
Mhm.
But at least he got to see it published. And it wasn't until after he'd passed that I had family and friends that had bought that copy that had told me that the first half of the book was great, but the second half had no editing done. And I'd paid Ex
Mm.
Libris $3,000 to edit the book, and they didn't
Wow.
do anything with it. So I pulled it from sales and I just concentrated on raising my kids and doing my own thing. I was a traffic control person, so I got to stand literally play in traffic daily. And then in 2022, when I was almost hit by an 18 wheeler on the highway, I decided it was time for a change.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I started driving haul trucks in a coal mine in Tumbler Ridge, BC. So
Mhm.
I get to drive a truck that's about the size of a two-story house.
Okay.
And in 2022, started I'd had start just started out there in November, and then by Mayish of 23, I started getting
Mhm.
emails from this company and this woman from Brilliant Books Literary.
Mhm.
I ignored them for a long time. For about 2 weeks, I ignored the emails. It was going to my junk mail. Something didn't sit right with me at that time. So I
Mhm.
would just throw them in the garbage. This doesn't feel right. And I'd come home from work and I was telling a friend of mine about it. And he said, "Well, why don't you give it a shot? Maybe it's not a scam. You never know until you try." I,
Mhm.
s- well, I said, "It just doesn't feel right. Something is feeling really off about it." I said, "I never put myself out there for them to contact me or anything." I said, "So
Right.
what? It just doesn't feel right." He goes,
Mhm.
"Just try it for me." And I'm like, "Well, why try it for you?" And then he told me he'd just been diagnosed with cancer. I was like, "Way to go, put that on me now."
Right.
I was like, "Okay, I'll give it a try." I said, "That's all I can do."
Mhm.
So I reached out to them, and in August of 2024, just before I met my fiance, I got a devastating call just before I was ready to head to work.
Mhm.
And it was a scam company called kitboga.com that out scammers on YouTube and so forth, contacting me to let me know that I had just been scammed by Brilliant Books Literary. They were not a real company, they were out of the
Mhm.
Philippines, completely fraudulent. And
Mm.
excuse me, I totaled up all the receipts of the money that I had sent them to do my book, and it was just over $20,000 Canadian.
My
I
God.
was devastated at this
Rightfully so.
loss, and I was ready to call it quits.
Mhm.
And my fiance, he's like, "Don't call it quits." He goes, "Just put it on the back burner for now." And then I wound up getting sick in September of 2024 with some really severe stomach issues.
Mhm.
In January of 25, my epilepsy started acting up. I've been
Mhm.
epileptic since I was 14, so my seizures started again where I was having seizures 2, 3 times a day. And well, that put a halt on me going back to work. I can't drive. I can't be left alone for long periods of time. So it just puts a hamper on my life. And I went decided, well, I've got nothing else to do. I'm going to go back to writing. So I was in a Facebook chat group and I'd seen this woman messaging on this forum that I was in, and she was outing scammers that kept trying to scam authors out of their money. "Oh, send us a
Mhm.
link to your book and blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "You're a scammer. You're a scammer. You're a scammer." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I need to contact this woman." And
Mhm.
I went contacting her, and it turned out that she had started her company 27 years ago as a single mom. And
Mhm.
when I went with Book Locker, I checked them out thoroughly before I gave any information to them, before any money was sent.
Mhm.
And I told my fiance about it. He goes, "I like what I'm hearing about it." He goes, "Go for it." He goes, "I'll even give you the money for the first payment." I'm like,
Mm.
"Oh, thank you."
Okay.
And because I get very little income for my disability right now, so
Okay.
anything helps.
Yeah.
And then after she'd heard my story about the $20,000 loss and everything, because of what you've been through, we want to do this for you. They interviewed me on their podcast, writersweekly.com, and it
Mhm.
airs on Spotify and everything. So that felt really good to be get that story out there to help other authors as well.
Yes.
And come July, I'm actually going to be speaking at a writers forum to tell other writers that are just getting out there about what kind of scams are out there and what to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have any advice, just like maybe some little quick, immediate things that you could share to say,
Quick, immediate
hey,
things.
yeah,
The biggest ones, go with
hmm,
your gut feeling. Two, if you're getting emails in your spam from
hmm,
so-called publishers or editors,
hmm,
don't listen to them. They're
gotcha.
scams. They're scams.
Yeah.
And if you're still not quite sure, check out writersweekly.com or writerbeware.com. They have
Hmm.
lists of overseas scams, impersonation scams that give huge lists of all the companies that are pretending to be legitimate companies. And I found
Gotcha.
it a huge help.
So thank you for
Like,
sharing that. We'll definitely pass that along. And then just one more question about that topic. Knowing what you know now as a published author with a reputable company, how likely is it for publishing companies to reach out to indie authors on their own?
um, publishing companies, like traditional publishing companies, will not reach out
Hmm.
to an author.
Okay.
This is something that I learned by going through Angela, is
Hmm.
that reputable agents and publishers don't have the time to randomly email an indie authors
Gotcha.
because they've got so much on their plate already. They've got people that are sending inquiries with manuscripts to be read. So they just don't have the time.
Understandable. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That was an incredible way to start your writing journey. I love how determined you were to see this through and be here with us today. But I think that's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, we have
It
so
will.
many aspiring authors that we really don't know what to think sometime when we think of publishing. So I love that we get to add this
Yeah.
perspective as well. So
Yeah.
now,
Same
to
here.
shift a bit.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of anticipation too with doing something new. And
Hmm.
you get a little anxious and you get a little antsy. And sometimes we're just ready to
You
sign our
do.
name on the contract without reading the fine print.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I love your
Yeah.
story because it's telling people, stop and think for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you happen to think, okay, this is good, and you do happen to sign with somebody like that, pay with a credit card because then
Yeah.
those payments you can get back. If it's paid through your bank, like mine were, you can't get it back.
Mhm.
Even though it's on
Mhm.
my statements and everything, it
Right.
doesn't give all the information like a credit card does. It doesn't have that same anti fraud as a credit card does. So now I, instead of even using a credit card or my bank card, I use PayPal.
Mm. Mhm.
PayPal is like even better than using my credit card because it helps stop scammers as well because a scammer doesn't like using PayPal because it tracks them too much.
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that. Okay.
Neither did I until Angela had told me.
Understood. All right, let's shift gears a little bit more. Your bio describes your work as a literary sanctuary. That's a big deal. What does that mean? Tell us what's a literary sanctuary and how you provide that.
To me, it's a place where I can go in my writing and I heal from my own trauma through my writing because
Mhm.
I've been through a lot in relationships when it comes to abuse.
Mhm.
So it's helped me heal through that. And also, it helps me find a balance in my life so that I don't get too out of control in my own mental health.
Mhm.
So, with that balance that I find it through crafting with my mom. I make
Mhm.
all kinds of jewelry. Uh, Recently, I just started working with polymer clays and genuine gemstones.
Mhm.
I make dream catchers in all shapes and forms. Like the recent one I just did, it's a 24-inch hoops that I've made into a chandelier for a friend. I got into quilting with my mom. Like we go to craft fairs and everything. So I
Mhm.
even teach classes to women on making earrings or bracelets and stuff like that as well. So I try and find a healthy balance. And if I'm feeling like my head has gone too far into a dark space, I stay away from the writing. I do some reading, and I
Mhm.
also go and see a counselor. Because last
Yes.
October, I got into a really, really dark space when I'd
Mhm.
started writing my current novel, and it started turning really, really dark. Like, I did not
Mhm.
like where it was going.
Mhm.
And I decided to seek some help, and I went and started talking to a counselor, and it's helped with my seizures. It's helped with my mental
Mhm.
health, and the narrative that the book has taken now is exactly where I wanted it to be. It's taken me 3 shots to get the book where I want it. I've started writing, deleted, started writing, and deleted, and started over again. So, f- contacting a counselor was the biggest thing that I needed because it's really helped
Amazing.
me deal with past traumas that I'd never dealt with.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's amazing. Yeah, I strongly believe healing should be a part of everything we do. Like that's the first step. We have to face ourselves.
Yeah,
We have to accept who we are, and then we have to love ourselves through what we're going through. Sometimes that's hard. So for
exactly.
you, is your writing the characters that you were writing in your stories? Are they personal to you? Are they different people? And do they affect you emotionally?
Some of my characters are quite personal to me. They reflect
Mhm.
myself and other people in my life. Other times they're just a name that I want to put into the plot to
Hmm.
give it a little bit of spice or a little bit of a twist.
Yeah.
But for the most part, my writing is very personal to me. I mean, when I started my current book, I was actually at work sitting in my truck waiting to in line to be loaded by the next excavator.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And an idea popped into my head. And I always carry pen and paper with me.
Hmm.
So I reached into my bag and I immediately started writing down the notions that I had in my head. And then all of a sudden I got honked in to go in and get loaded. And while I was sitting there being loaded, because it takes this little excavator like 20 minutes to load my truck, so I continued writing notes and bumped the box of my truck. And I was like, "Oh." So I turned and I looked at him and he's like, "What? What did I do?" And I went like this to him. I'm like, "Go to channel 4." So I went, what you bump my butt for? He goes, "What did I do?" He goes, "You're right, sitting there writing." He goes, "Did I do something wrong that you're reporting me for?" I'm like, "No." I said, "I'm an author." I said, "I had an idea for a book that just popped
Yeah.
into my head and I don't want to lose the idea." He's like,
Gotta get it
"Oh," he
out.
goes,
Yes.
"Does that mean I get to be in your book now?"
That is hilarious.
Oh my goodness. That is adorable, actually.
It,
I
it
just,
was. It was really adorable. Do I get to be part of it now?
yeah.
And then when everybody else started hearing what I was doing, they're like, oh, well, and they'd start giving me these little snippets. It's like, no, that's not what I write about. No, no, no. Keep that to yourself. I don't want to
Some
hear this.
suggestions, some friendly suggestions.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's funny because we talk about that a lot when you're just out in the world grocery shopping and you get an idea.
Hmm.
And what
Yeah.
my mentors, my writing coaches told me was document everything because you never know how it
Yeah.
will show up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or when it
Like
should show up.
even, yeah, exactly. Like even last May, my fiance and I went on a 7,000-kilometer road trip. We left
Wow.
Prince George, BC, and we drove north to Dawson Creek, Yukon. And we stayed 2 days in the Yukon and then drove back down to Prince George. But along that journey, I'd taken my laptop with me. I took paper with me and I
Mhm.
got ideas for new books. So I was
Yes.
writing like constantly in the passenger seat. And of course, I took my phone and I'd hot wire my phone to my laptop so I could sit there and I could write on my laptop. So as we're driving down the highway, people are coming up alongside me, seeing me type on the laptop, and they're going like, "What?"
What's going on in there?
But my
Mhm.
fiance, he was like, yeah, my fiance, he was like, as long as you're happy, he goes, do your thing. He goes,
Yeah.
that's all I want is you to relax, be comfortable. And we
Mhm.
had an amazing trip. Like we want to do it again. We're actually thinking about going to the Yukon to get married.
Oh, that's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I want to kind of go a little deeper into that. I know that you mentioned about having some past, maybe not the best relationships. So, was this intentional writing romance? Was this like you almost rewriting your story in some way too?
I think so. Because with my own life and as a young girl you get those harlequin romance novels from the library and you read about how he sweeps her off her feet and blah blah blah, and you dream
Mhm.
about that same kind of situation for yourself, and you don't think for a second that there's a man out there that is going to hurt you in the way that I was hurt, like mentally,
Mhm.
emotionally, physically. Like one, I'm not even going to call him a man because of what he did to me.
Mm.
He nearly killed me 3 times.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah,
Mhm.
to write romance is a way for me to really rewrite my own story and feel like there is a possibility of that true love, that soulmate feeling kind of love. And
Yeah.
I didn't really think it was possible for me to ever find it until I met my fiance 2 years ago. And
And
we
here
met
you are.
randomly on a dating app. Yeah. And I told him, I'm not in for anything serious. I don't, just casual kind of
Oh
thing.
my God. That's
He's
how
like,
it always
okay.
starts.
And that's how it always starts. Within 2 weeks, we were inseparable.
Oh.
And it just went from there. And I moved in with him probably a month and a half after we got together. And we've been great ever
Hmm.
since. Like, if he now can sense if I'm going to have a seizure, the cats can
Mhm.
sense when I'm going to have a seizure. So
Mhm.
it's all meshed really well together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there's something that we like to do with our writers. It's a new segment we're working on, and it's called what is your book about? So if you can give us a synopsis, a preview, whichever book you decide, but if someone didn't know who you were and they saw your book and they said, "What is this about?" What would you tell them?
If they saw Heartbreak Falls and they didn't know who I was or anything, quick synopsis on it about a young woman that has pretty much given up on finding love because of betrayal in her own life. She
Mhm.
never thought that she'd ever meet anybody. She was quite content with her life
Mhm.
until one day she was in a local dress boutique with her sister buying her ball gown for her sister's betrothal ball and bumps into a mysterious, handsome man that happens to be new to town that sweeps her off her feet.
All right. Well, I'm pretty much hooked.
Yeah, that sounds like a great story.
Yeah. What do you hope your readers feel
I've
after
gotten a
finishing
few
it?
good reviews on it. The reviews that I've gotten that I've seen on Goodreads and Amazon is that they loved it. They felt
Mhm.
pulled in from the very first page to the very end,
Mhm.
and they can't wait for more to come.
Amazing.
I love it.
That's like the best compliment you can get as an author is write more.
It is, it really is. Like all my ratings are 4-star and 5 stars.
Yes, ratings. We want to speak that continually into your journey.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yes.
So we're coming to the end of this. I don't even know what to call miraculous story, to be honest with you. Tell us, what do you have any final words that you want to leave with the young Jennifers?
Some final words to leave with some young Jennifers, whether they want to be an author or if they're in a relationship. If you're in a relationship and something's feeling not quite right, get some
Mhm.
help. Don't be afraid
Mhm.
to ask for help. Somebody will always listen. That was my biggest thing is I didn't think anybody would believe me. People will
Mhm.
believe. As for the
Mhm.
young Jennifers that want to be authors, follow your dreams. You don't know what you can do unless you try. And for me, my journey actually really started when I was still in high school. I had an amazing English teacher,
Yes.
and she was constantly telling me that I could do it. I had an amazing gift. Give it a try. And it was about a week ago that I found out that she just passed away on May 8th.
Oh, wow.
But she left a very impactful part in my life. Growing up, she lived right next door to me. So if I had questions about an assignment or whatever, or just wanted her to look at something I was working on, I'd just run right next door.
You were destined to be this writer.
That's awesome.
Yes, I was.
All right, ma'am, tell us where we can find you. Where are your books? Where can they get in contact with you? If anybody wanted to hear more of your story, maybe talk to you about speaking to their groups, how do we find you?
You can find me on every social media platform. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads. I'm all over social media. I also have a
Mm-hmm.
website. It's
Mm-hmm.
westeckottnovels.com. Um, Also, my books are found on Amazon, Goodreads, barnesandnoble.com, booklocker.com, currently on booklocker.com. If you
Mm-hmm.
use the code SAVE20, you will save 20% at booklocker.com with my book. And I have a link in, I do believe I've got it posted on all my social medias as well,
Mm-hmm.
so that people can find that. You can follow me and get weekly updates if you follow me through my webpage as well. I've got blogs in there about what's going on, little teaser snippets of the new book, some teasers
Mm.
about Heartbreak Falls. I've got lots of information everywhere.
That's how you stay connected.
Yes.
It has definitely been a pleasure. We are wrapping this up. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being with us and joining us on another exciting episode. We also want to send a special rest in peace to your former teacher. And we thank her for being such a light on this earth and
Thank you.
helping to shape Miss Jennifer, who is also currently shaping others. So we love to see how this legacy is just continuing to live out through the time. All right, everybody, it's been real. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.